Alright, so this is my team and I representing how to spinally immobilize a seated patient. First thing we're going to do is be aside, scene is safe. We're going to put on our gloves, make sure the scene is safe.
Scene is safe.
At this point, I'm going to direct one of my partners to come and hold neck stabilization on the patient who's still seated in the car. We're going to continue to hold neck stabilization throughout the entire exercise. We're not going to remove our hands off neck stabilization until the patient is secured to the long board. We're then going to have another one of my partners put that on as soon as we're done with checking the patient's PMS. So I come down, he has pulses. Sir, can you wiggle your fingers? You can wiggle his fingers. Can you feel me touching all your fingers? Yes. Sir, do you remember everything that happened here?
Yes.
Were you awake the entire time?
Yes.
Sir, can you wiggle your toes for me? Can you feel me touching all of your toes?
Yep.
Okay. Now we're going to measure and attach the cervical brace to the patient's neck. Now that we have the cervical collar attached to the patient's neck, we're then going to prepare the KED. First thing we're going to do is going to move the patient's body forward all in one motion, trying to maintain the spine in the way that it is. So when the person is holding the head's count of 3, we're going to move the patient forward. 1, 2, 3. We're then going to place the KED behind the patient. And secure it down here. We are then going to roll the patient back into it, maintaining the spinal stabilization that we have set up. On the person who's holding the next count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Roll the patient's shoulders back. At this point, we're then going to begin to attach the KED to the patient. We're going to start with the middle strap. Work it here. While we do this, we're going to make sure that we don't tie the KED too tight to keep the patient from being able to breathe adequately. The other thing we're going to do is while we tighten these straps, we're going to make sure we don't jostle the patient.
Middle, lower, top.
What? The issue strap.
To grasp something.
Now that we've done this, we're then going to do the leg straps. Again, making sure that we do not jostle the patient. We're going to get real friendly with the patient.
Alright, this one's missing.
Alright, now that we have the patient set up in the KED, we're going to reassess PMS. Checking for pulse. Sir, can you move your fingers? You feel me touching all of your fingers?
Hey, buddy.
Check for pedal pulse. Sir, can you still touch your toes? Can you wiggle your toes for me? Can you feel me touching your toes? Alright, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to check the back of the patient's head. We notice that there is some space behind the patient's head. We're then going to put this padding behind the patient's head and then attach the head portion of the KED to the patient. We're going to go both under and on top of the patient. So we're going to come at the head also going to go from below. There you go. Now we have it entirely done, this is when we check PMS. So we reassess for PMS, we have a pulse, start with your fingers. Can you feel me touching all of your fingers? Yep. Check for a pulse. We found a pulse, start to wiggle your toes. Can you feel me touching all of your toes?
Yep.
Okay. At this point, we are then going to extricate the patient out of the vehicle using the KED onto the longboard. Once the patient's on the longboard, we will secure the patient to the longboard. We will transport the patient to the nearest appropriate facility rapidly. Once we have the patient on the longboard, we're also going to reassess PMS because we're putting him on another spinal fixation device. That's it.